Well, off season is running right now. I'm trying to keep my voice down a bit because Kobe's asleep on the other side of this wall, getting ready for semifinals. But I'm joined right now by Anero from Golden Guardians,
What
with
up?
coverage brought to you by Alienware to talk about some discussion. So, Anero, I reached out
Yeah.
to you because you had a little bit of a Twitter rant today.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I did not see this initially, but I guess people were saying that like the in-house system that you had made previously was not good.
No, it was just like a Jacob Wolf article, and there
Okay.
was a quote by Parth. It's like it wasn't even a quote; it was like paraphrased. He paraphrased a quote. I think he posted like the actual one later. Um, and it was just talking about like why TSM didn't use it, which like is cool or whatever. But there was just like a random tidbit at the end of if there was like more diversity, they would use it. And that part just kind of pissed me off because it's just like a way of saying there's like this is the reason they don't want to use it when the real reason is like they just don't want to use it.
Yeah.
Like, and I've seen like a few people like post things like that, or just like have that feeling, and I'd rather you just say like you don't want to use it than pretend like oh it's this reason because that reason literally doesn't fucking exist.
So let's just take a step back actually, and
Yeah,
I think that's a. I'm glad we talked about that because it helps explain sort of the reason why this conversation started between you and I. But a lot of people don't really understand what your solo queue system was, or like your in-house system was,
yeah,
um, and how it came about. And if I recall, this was last year when a lot of people were saying, "Hey, the ping in North America is bad, and solo queue is bad." So if only we had a system where the ping was better and you could play against people who were trying very hard to win, it would be a better system overall. Am I correct in understanding that's how you created this or why you created it?
yeah. So like the like bot system itself started up pretty recently, like it started this year,
And what
but
and
the
what was
in-houses
this overall?
themselves,
Sorry, in the very beginning,
yeah,
before the bot, like what was this? Like what did
yeah.
you build to try to approach this?
So it had been done before, but it started in like 2018. People were just tired of like the ping, and it kept getting brought up. So I was like, okay, fuck it, I'll just make like something to play on TR. Um, because then I was like, okay, at least if we have this option, if people really complain about the ping, then maybe we can use this as like a way to solve that. Um, and then maybe pressure for like a server in the long run if people actually want it, or it'll
And the,
just end
the
up
idea
proving
was
that
to
people
create
don't care.
in-houses. Yes?
Yeah, yeah, in houses. Sorry there. Yeah, in houses of just like pro players, academy players, all those people just to play together because the pros obviously like just didn't like playing solo queue. The same things that we hear today. Like, they just didn't like playing solo queue. So I was just trying to find a solution for that.
And so what was your solution? How did you build it out? Like what did these in-houses look like?
The beginning was like pretty rough. It was just like a Discord server where people would ask to sign up, and the way we did it was like first come, first serve, where you say like I want to play at this time. Um, like we would have like blocks like 12 to 3, 4 to 7, kind of like scrims during off season, like same schedule. Uh, like cool, you sign up for this time, and first come, first serve. But if an LCS player signs up later than an academy player, LCS player takes their priority. So people just write on that. We'd group up teams together based off of it. We'd try to like match make the teams roughly to feel like balanced, and yeah, that we would just make games off of that.
And so, I guess again, sort of the idea was, hey, now everybody can play instead of having to go in solo queue and getting streamers running it down or people rage quitting out of your games or something like that.
Yeah.
Now you have this environment where everybody's like dedicated to trying, and you don't have to worry about the ping. So, you said that this originally started in 2018. How did it
Yeah.
evolve over time?
So over time, it turned into people wanted different changes to it, like oh, we want to be able to invite like challenger players, which happened like this year with it. We want to be able to play with just like LCS players only. That would make us want to play it more because it was initially like LCS Academy was like mixed. So we changed to add like that as an option for people
They
that
didn't
just
want to
wanted to
play
play.
Academy?
Yeah, there were some people that didn't want to play Academy. Like they just didn't want to play like certain players or something, and it was like cool. Like if that's what's gonna make you guys play it, like I don't give a fuck. Like you can do that if you want, but you have the option to queue for either an LCS queue or an LCS plus Academy queue. So people would sign up for that. But But it didn't really matter. It kind of just didn't end up getting used too much. Then people asked for like the option, like, hey, I think this player should be able to play in like the LCS queue. Like, I think they're good enough. So we like introed the option of like, if enough LCS players vote for a player to move up, they can like promote that person to the next tier. Same for like the academy players. Like, they could vote up a challenger player, like amateur player, up to like academy tier if enough people cared about him and voted for him. Like, I think the first person to go through like all 3 tiers was Mash. Like, the meme was just Mr. Dickens the whole time. That was his name. And he'd always play like Karthus bot or something.
Gotcha.
But he wasn't on a team at the time, but he had TR access, and he went from like, yeah, challenger to academy to LCS. And then, yeah, eventually it got into like, oh, we want like a bot to do this. And I was like, yeah, cool, I can do that. Like, I'll try to figure something out.
And the reason the bot was built, you said on Twitter, was because people felt as though there was some sort of favoritism?
Yeah, we got like, it was, fuck, dude, I don't even remember what team it was, but there was like a rumor from one of their players. They said, like, oh, it's just favored towards GG players. Like, they always get priority. And I was like, what the fuck is that, man? Like, I literally just do it first come, first serve. Like, I don't care if my players are the ones playing first. Like, I don't give a shit about that. That's not the point. So it's just like, yeah, we'll make a bot. Like, they obviously want some way to make it automated too. So it's just very easy to like get through it with that. So I like reached out. I like posted something about it, like looking for someone who could do it. And it ended up being like Tolkien who did it. Worked with T1 this year. Yeah, you would just like, I have like the commands on my computer, but it was just like exclamation point Q, your role, and then it put you in the bot, and you would just get put into a game once all the roles were filled. I know there's like people on Reddit who are saying like people get auto-filled. People have had that perception. It's like, no, it doesn't happen. Like, you can choose to play multiple roles if you want. But the way I set it up was like, if you queued off role, if there was a person main role queuing that same role as you, they would get priority over you every time. Or at least like if they were like LCS tier, like they would get it over you. And that was just how like everyone like handshook agreed it would work. That whole process was cool. I thought the bot worked really, really well.
How long was it used for once you built the bot?
Just like a couple of weeks, and maybe like 3-4 weeks it got used for. Yeah, that's about it. People asked for like an MMR system too. That was something I did like manually at first before just like some way to help balance the games and like do a ladder system. So it's like, okay, I can do that. That was pretty easy to set up. So I know people were talking about like, you have something to grind for in the challenger ladder. Like, there's just that feeling of like, yeah, I'm on a leaderboard. That feels nice. Like, I get that, it gives you something to play for. So I tried to build that out, but like, we didn't get enough games when we built the manual one to have it really matter. I think Stixay was rank 1. He had like insane MMR compared to everyone else. But then, yeah, when Tolkien came in, he had MMR for his system too. So it would matchmake based off of, like results of people's MMR through that. Try to do anything we could to make it like close to pressing play on the client and queuing up,
Were there things, because we've obviously talked about a lot of things that people wanted that you were able to implement. Were there issues that people had with the bot or anything that you guys weren't able to address?
So when the bot came out, the one thing that we kind of lost on it was duo queuing at first, which like people had wanted in the past to do, but it couldn't really do on the bot. At least not like yet. I wanted to make sure that like everything was going before Tolkien put like more time into doing that. Trying to think if there were like other big things. It never seemed to be like a huge problem. I know we tried to do something through Faceit too. Like, Faceit was pretty involved with trying to like set something up. Like, we ended up doing the stuff with Tolkien before anything got set with that, but that was something like people kind of wanted, like the whole, however they do it for CSGO, like the Faceit Pro League stuff they had.
Yeah.
They were working on something for us, but like it was just dead. So there was like no real reason for them to commit time into building that for us.
Because by that point in time, people had stopped using the bot, essentially, you're saying.
Yeah, I think they eventually got it done. Like, because I know the PA was pushing on it pretty hard to try and get that stuff done, like through Darshan, because Darshan's obviously been pretty vocal about in-houses. But yeah, by the time like it was happening, like the stuff was already dead, I'm pretty sure.
And was that, what time of the year? Because you said this was this year. So was it like at the beginning of the year, or when did this all happen?
I think it was the beginning of the year. Like, dude, the year is
Yes, I
With
know it's
Corona,
all
it
been
is
kind of
like
a
mushed
weird.
together for me
Yeah,
now. I can check the Discord and find out, but I'm pretty sure it was like a start of the year kind of thing
gotcha.
for us. I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay. Well, while you're investigating, was there in your mind, because you said maybe the start of the year, I know you're looking at right now, but was there any particular reason why people stopped doing this? Like, did the LCS season start and people got busy, or was there some reason?
Okay, so it started in May. Like
Okay.
May was when we got the bot like fully set up, May
So it sounds
11th.
like right after spring finished, probably.
Yeah, it's like so
Okay.
basically during that time it got finished. It died out on May 27th. That seems like that was the last time we had an LCS queue happen. May 20th was when the Academy queue died. Um, and yeah, I think like practice was starting around the 28th and it died out about a week before practice. Which I mean kind of makes sense,
Yeah.
but it was like slowly just dying out before that. Like we really didn't get a lot of games. People stayed queued up for a while. Yeah, actually the last game went out May 23rd. And I know like practice for us started I think on the 28th. That was our first day of practice.
So is this something that you you think could have really helped North America? Like, is it really unfortunate people aren't using this, or was this just like a tool? Like, we're gonna throw it at the wall and see how it goes. I mean, I don't know if in reflection now, since this thing is not being used, do you have an idea on what it could have been?
So like I think the only way it really would have like helped North America overall was just like pushing for like a super server or some shit like that. Just having some way to have low ping in LA for pro players. That was kind of like one of the original intents and something we always like pressured on with players with bringing it back was like if you want to pressure Riot to have any reason to have low ping, do this so that way they show that there's a like demand for it because like supply and demand, man. Like if the demand's not there, they're not going to give a shit.
Right.
I think like that's what it was mainly good for. Like obviously you can get a lot of stuff from practice from that, um, but I don't think it's like this big huge like catch-all solution thing. Like I
I
was
mean,
pretty adamant the whole time. Like it didn't really like I think it could be useful, but it didn't really matter overall. It was mainly just like if ping is the real problem that everyone thinks is the problem, here's the solution for it. And if you're not willing to use it, then obviously like that's not the problem and you should stop complaining about it. That was like my thing.
well, like it seems like a lot of people talk about ping, but they also talk about issues in solo queue, like Voy Boy and some of the other folks have come out and said like, hey, solo queue
Yeah.
sucks and Riot doesn't take action or whatever.
Yeah.
And so a system like Face It or like this, where people who are bad apples could be removed from it, seems like it would at least also go into addressing that at least, right?
Yeah, like it could help for it. But I mean, even that didn't really seem to be the big problem because we ended up getting like permission to invite players, like which has never really happened before, like challenger players to TR.
Riot allowed this.
Yeah, Riot allowed like the ability for us to invite people to it. Um, and just a lot of the teams didn't use it. Like they could have invited players, which is
Yeah.
why like I got mad about the like part thing because they talked about like not enough diversity, which is like, yeah, I get that. But you had the option to, and you didn't use your invites. So don't complain.
So
Like we ended up using 3 teams invites for it.
so
It's kind of dumb.
right now there are a lot of comments online of people who want to blame LCS pros for like poor international performance and say they're just lazy, they don't want to do stuff or whatever. And on the whole, it's been difficult for me to read this stuff because I know
Yeah.
how difficult a lot of these players work. It's
Mhm.
difficult to hear sort of this anecdote from you because this is a system where it does feel like people built this and designed it to address a lot of the issues that people had. And it feels like ultimately people were not invested in growing it, developing it, or doing more there. Is that
Yeah.
do I have a good read on the situation? I mean, it does feel like the community would perhaps, at least
Yeah.
in this one circumstance, be justified in feeling frustrated.
Yeah, like the community I saw is definitely hitting at it is like, oh, this just proves the players are lazy kind of thing. That wasn't like the intent behind any of my tweets either. Like I know I wrote at the end is like I'm like I have a lot of respect like for the people at least that told me like they didn't think it was going to be useful or they weren't interested because like cool like I don't care how you get your practice. I know like a lot of people do practice really different. Um, like I know like Darshan, for example, does a lot of like 1v1s with people. Um, but it's not like this is just like, oh, this proves that they're all lazy. Like obviously like some of the people are doing it because they're lazy, but it's not like I have a way to figure out like who is lazy because they're not doing it. Like I can definitely know who is saying they don't want to do it because of X reason, but they might be doing other practice, you know? I don't think this is like, oh, we got them. Like we tricked the players into revealing that they're all lazy pieces of shit. Like that's not really the case from this. It's just they obviously don't want to do in-houses. So we should stop pretending like there's other reasons they're not doing in-houses. Like no, they just don't want to do it.
But and
Like,
I ask this out of ignorance.
yeah.
Is there some reason why going into solo queue would be better than doing these in-houses?
Shit, I don't know, man. It doesn't sound like it. It doesn't sound like there's anything, but like I also don't know if like people are feeling the same way about the in-house games either, you know?
Yeah.
Like even when they play with LCS players, like obviously like I get the feedback like, oh, this was great. Like it felt good to play in these games, but they also might feel different after like 10 games, you know? I'm just like, oh, maybe it sucks, but I won't hear that feedback. Like I've got a feedback channel in the Discord to just know like, hey, if you guys think anything's bad, like just fucking tell me so I can be aware. I don't really get a lot of feedback for it. Like the last feedback I got um, was in 2018, and it was a eggplant emoji, and then they wrote out Nick Smith with the emotes, and then the photo of me from your interview with my chest hair out.
Okay.
That was my feedback. So,
And did you feel like that feedback was actionable?
I mean, the stuff before that, yeah, like stuff that they gave me.
No, I meant
it was all
specifically
things.
the eggplant emoji one.
Oh, that, yeah,
Yeah.
no, that was very actionable feedback. I said, all right, that's great feedback. Thank you all. I'll keep this in mind.
Okay.
And then they wrote America USA with
Okay.
everything.
Well,
So yeah,
at least they were staying true to the LCS.
yeah,
Anyway, I mean, look, it does feel to me like this is a bit of a tragic story because this feels like it could have been a useful tool. And I don't know, is there a chance in your mind that this gets resurrected at some point in time? I assume it's just sitting there. People could go use it right now.
yeah. I think Tolkien might have like put the bot offline for now because it's not getting used. I'm pretty sure I saw him say that he did that, but I don't know for certain at the moment. Like I think it could get used. I know people always inevitably hit me up every off season. It's not like I'm the one starting it up in the off season. Like, hey, let's do this. It's like usually someone asks like if it's gonna happen, and I'm like, cool, yeah, I'll just post in here and see if they want to do it. So it could happen again where people use it. It's always happened every off season so far now. So I'm not gonna pretend like it won't happen, but I don't think it's gonna last again. It'll
Yeah.
be the exact same thing, I'm pretty sure, because ultimately, like people don't want it. Like the players don't actually really want it, at least not enough. There's a few that really like it. Like I know, like Niski always hits me up to try and get them going because he thinks it's good, but yeah, a lot of them don't really like it.
Well, cheers to Niski at least.
Yeah.
Well, and Arrow, thank you so much. Is there anything that you want to add to any of this or anything we didn't really talk about?
No, I don't think so. Just yes, don't use this as like a fucking attack all the players thing. If you want to take the message from it that the players are lazy, like I guess I can't stop you. That's already been what everyone took from this. But it's mainly just stop talking about in-houses if you weren't involved. It's just annoying. Like that Parth quote is just annoying. Like just shut up, please. Um, Otherwise, like cool. If anyone has questions about how in-houses work, like, you can ask anytime. They're still there. I've been pretty open about how it works. Tolkien literally posted the bot like and how it worked publicly.
Where?
Literally everything. It's on like GitHub
Okay.
or however you say that website. Like he posted everything about it publicly for everyone to see. So it's out there if people want to look at it. But nah, I don't have anything else. It's just let's not pretend in-houses are the solution to everything. Stop pointing fingers at random shit and hoping it's the random solution, and just actually like try to fix what you can in front of you.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of shit. It's a lot of things. It's not just one. So
I think there's just one problem in Arrow, and I think it's
Is
that
it me?
players are lazy. That's what I've
yeah.
seen. Or that we need to
Yeah.
move to Chicago. Anyway,
There it is. Let's just move to Chicago, man. Let's just move everyone to Chicago.
dear God. Well, anyway, thanks so much for talking to me. I think, obviously a lot of discussion around this stuff, and so sort of hearing about the project that you built and hopefully, you know, might see use again in the future is nice for everybody. So for everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things off season right here on my YouTube channel. Hello. If you can't tell, I am slowly losing. Oh my gosh, I can't even finish a sentence. Losing my mind as I go into, I think, week 3 of nocturnal time zone situation. I was supposed to go to sleep at 10 a.m. today. I think I fell asleep at 2 p.m. Or was that yesterday? The only thing that's really going on in my brain right now, the only thing that's percolating in the sleep-addled cranium, is my need to tell you about Alienware. Alienware.com/Travis. There's a link in the description below. You can use Travis 10 off Q3 to save 10% on your order. And by the way, it's going to become Q4 soon. That's a spoiler alert. But you know, the holidays are coming up soon. The winter shopping season is hitting soon. And it's just, I would be remiss if I did not impress upon you the importance of checking out alienware.com/Travis and using that code when you're doing your shopping. Because guess what? They have so many great products over there. There's a new NVIDIA 3000 series GPUs, which are starting to pop up across their different Aurora desktop computing machines. They've got brand new monitors at high refresh rates. I'm starting to make this thing go too long because I don't know how to be succinct now that I've lost all track of time. So thank you so much to Alienware. And while you're down there, be sure to check out the Draft Buff link as well to play some cool competitive games for free around League of Legends Worlds. Got some Travis Gafford leagues going. Come hang out.